Okay, great. Thank you, Mavis, for that. Welcome, everybody. I'm really happy to be here today with you and to answer questions about our program. I'm going to go through a couple of slides here just to give you an idea about our program. And then I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, and also have you hear from one of our graduate students that will be graduating in the next couple of weeks, Luke. He's going to be joining us shortly. And we also have other faculty. We have Professor Merlot, who's here with me as well. She'll jump in at some point and say a few words as well. So again, thanks for joining us and welcome. Okay, the sport industry itself, the reason you guys are all jumping on board today and listening to me and others talk about the sport industry is because you love sports. You all have a passion for sports. I think it's, the sport industry itself is universal language. Everybody around the world either plays it or watches some sports events or sports themselves. And so this program is all about working in the industry and really looking at sports as a business. That's why we call it sport management, sport administration, because we all love sports, but we're not going to all be professional athletes. So the next best thing, what is it? It's to work with sport organizations and help them as a business, help them grow. And so you can see the amount of spending that the average consumer has per year, how large the global sport industry is. It's really something. When you look at the values of some of the sports teams now, the Dallas Cowboys, New York Yankees, we're talking about billion-dollar teams now. And so they want employees who really understand the business aspect of the industry so that they can continue to grow and prosper throughout the years. So really, one of the things that I'd like you to focus on today is, because you're probably looking at Niagara College and you may also be looking at some other colleges or university programs. And I encourage you to think about the following things here. Look at the curriculum, first of all. Look at what the courses are going to be that you're going to be taking over the next 3 years. Look at the faculty. Are they experienced? Do they have connections in the industry to help you? Are they student focused? What are their backgrounds? So that's another thing to look at. Also, look at the professor-student ratio. How large are the classrooms? Our program, the professors will know you. They'll know you by first name. The classrooms are going to be small enough where there's going to be opportunities to interact with your professor. It's not like you're one out of 400 students in a huge seminar or in a huge lecture hall in university. So that is important as well. The other thing to think about is work experience opportunities. Is there an internship or a co-op of some kind where you can actually work with a sport industry organization? Again, we will touch upon that a little bit later on, but we are really high on this aspect of the curriculum. The other thing to look at is industry networking. Networking is critical in sports. It's probably the most important thing. That, along with internships, are critical. What you'll find at Niagara College is that, along with myself and the other sport management professors, we are all connected in some way to some different areas of the sport industry. Some are connected with the collegiate side of sport, some with professional side of sport, some with the event side of sport, some with the nonprofit side of sport. And we all have networking that we can share with you when you come on board as a student. The sixth thing to think about, in my opinion, is look at university transfer opportunities. I know you may not be thinking about this right now, but once you come to Niagara College and you take our program, we do have partnerships with various universities where once you finish with us, you could, if you want to, you don't have to, but you could transfer to a university for a year or two or three and finish off a university degree in addition to the Niagara College 3-year advanced diploma. The seventh thing that I wanted you to think about is the features of the college. Things like residence on campus. When we are all returning back to campus, there is a residence at our Niagara and the Lake campus and the Welland campus for that matter. So that's available to you if you're from out of town. And then look at also the surrounding features, right? The traffic, the climate, all of that is all part of the decision-making process. And then also look at the graduation and placement rates. The big question is going to be, when I'm finished with this program, am I going to find a job? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, is to help give you the skill set so that you can find a good paying full-time job with a sport organization. So those are the things I would ask you to consider when you're making your final decision of where to go in September. Okay, so we are housed in the sport management program. Falls under the School of Hospitality, Tourism, and Sport. Again, we have a 3-year diploma in sport management and a 2-year diploma in sport administration. One's an advanced diploma, one's a 2-year diploma. In terms of our faculty, I just listed a few names here of our sport management faculty and just where we achieved our credentials from the various different universities. Shelley Merlot is here. Perhaps this is a good time, Shelley, for you to jump in, if you will, and just say hello and maybe say a couple of things.
Thanks, Professor Santoro, and welcome. When we certainly hope you're going to consider Niagara College as your choice. As you can see, I'm at home, as many of you are, and no matter if you're at home or on campus, we offer that personal touch, as Professor Santoro, Mike has spoken about, whether it's in the classroom or at home. Small classes, we get to know you and have working office hours, class time together, individual time to meet. So it certainly is hands-on, even though we're not face-to-face with each other. My background, again, is from McMaster University, a phys ed grad, so I graduated quite a while ago. But what I bring to the sport management program is my background is primarily in festivals and events. And so I couple and collaborate festivals and events with sporting events. It's no secret that you don't have a sporting event solely itself. Oftentimes there's other components that go along with it. And so I bring those various ancillary activities together with sports. I've been involved in the Pan Am Games. I took a professional development leave in 2015 to work on the TO 2015 games with soccer in Hamilton and creating festivals and events. And right now I have a part-time secondment together with teaching and sport management. I'm helping out with, and I hope you can answer this question, what's happening in 22, and that's our Niagara 2022 Canada Summer Games. So certainly being here, Mike's talked about the networking, guest speakers are phenomenal. So we bring all that to the classroom with our industry experiences. We want to make sure that you go home with a toolbox full of tools. Thanks, Mike.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. And so the rest of the professors have similar backgrounds. Some are in athletics, some are in collegiate. Chris Pasutka has some background in U.S. Collegiate athletics. I have some experience with, I was athletic director for a short period of time at Niagara College, but also have a heavy golf background and basketball and baseball background. I both coached and played. And so all of these professors that you see listed on this slide have some some background in sport. So when you're sitting in a classroom and we're talking to you about a specific theory or concept or examples, we oftentimes relate back to our own experiences or any experiences that we've had through other contexts that we have. So, you're always going to have some sport related experience. It's not going to be someone who has never, played any sports at all. We all are and have been. So we bring that to the classroom. To help students and to give students support, we also have an internship facilitator, and we also have a student advisor. So when we get opportunities and jobs from, let's say, the Hamilton Tiger Cats or the Toronto Raptors, we'll get notifications for those opportunities, and then we'll place them on our job boards. And our internship officer, Jen Day, she will facilitate that function with students. She'll post the jobs, she'll set up interviews for you, and help you with the interviewing process itself. Cynthia Manzo is also our student advisor. She will help you with any academic issues, scheduling issues, course problems, financial issues, that type of thing. She will be there for you for that. So there's plenty of student support at Niagara College, and in particular our program. This slide here just shows you the curriculum at a glance. So when you start in September, you're going to be at level 1 or semester 1. You see at the top of your screen. You'll take Introduction to Sport Management, you'll take Leadership in Sport, and you'll take a few other courses, communications course, math, Excel, and a general elective class. So every semester you will have a minimum of 2 courses, and in some semesters you'll have actually 6 sport-related courses. So you can see some other ones here: sport finance, law for sport, sport marketing, sport sponsorship that Professor Merlot teaches, governance of sport organizations, media and sport, sales and promotions in sports, sport facilities, and so on and so forth. This is kind of how the course flows, the program flows. You can see that we start in the fall, both in sport management and sport administration. And then, so that's semester 1 in the fall, and then you'll go to semester 2 in the winter, and then you're off in the spring, summer, and then you come back in the fall for semester 3, and then the winter semester 4. So that's 2 years completed there. And so after 2 years, the sport administration students will graduate with a 2-year diploma. And after 2 years, the sport management students have an option here. They can decide to stop and graduate with sport administration, or continue on, have the spring off, and then come back in the fall for their 5th semester of academic classes, and then take their internship in the final semester. So they would go out on their internship, and then they would, from that internship, hopefully obtain a full-time job and then graduate at that point. You can see below that we have all of the courses are 14 weeks. There are 6 courses per semester. So in total, there's 3 general elective courses, 3 communications courses, 2 math courses, and 21 sport specific courses, and then 1 business course being the Excel course. We, as Professor Merlot alluded to earlier, we, as part of our curriculum and part of our courses, we're very hands-on with our students. We go on a lot of field trips. We have a lot of guest speakers come into the classroom. This is a photo I took. I teach a class in sport facilities management. This is a photo I took of the Scotia Bank Arena field trip that we had a couple of years ago, where we take a tour of how the actual arena is operated and how it runs, the behind the scenes stuff, if you will. And so this was that trip We got there in the afternoon. We got a tour from the director of facilities of Scotiabank Arena, and then we stayed for a Raptors game at night. So typically we'll go on a field trip and then stay for whether it's the Raptors, whether it's the Tiger Cats, whether it's the Blue Jays, we'll stay for a game afterwards. This was just another image of that same trip. We stayed for a Raptors game that night. This is one where we went to Rogers Center and watched the Blue Jays and had a tour of the stadium, behind the scenes of how it's run. And this is Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton, where the Tiger Cats play. This is a field trip that we had there. And this is the Pan Am Sports Performance Center in Scarborough. Again, another field trip. And one of the things that we do in our program is we take the students on what's called a Be World Ready trip. And this is a trip that we took to Las Vegas. The sport management program has an annual trip. This is, again, post-COVID, of course. We're going to be going back to Vegas and probably Disney in Florida, taking students to go through these sport facilities in those cities. So in this case, in Vegas, we took about 20 students there, and we toured a few different sport facilities. This is one of them. It's the Esports Arena in the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas. We also took the students to the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, where the Golden Knights play, the NHL team. And this is the NASCAR Motor Speedway in Las Vegas. Went to the NASCAR track. And this is the Las Vegas ballpark, where the minor league Las Vegas baseball team plays out of. So in terms of what's next for the program, we are looking right now and working on implementing an esports program as part of our umbrella of offerings. We're going to have a sport management 3-year program, and we're going to have a 1-year postgraduate esports program, and that's being worked on now for launching next year. So, when you finish the 3 years of sport management, you may want to stay for 1 more year and take get an esports grad certificate as well. But esports is competitive video gaming, for those of you who may not know. Games like FIFA, NBA 2K, NHL 2020, and so on. So in terms of internships, students, basically the way the program runs is that students can gain practical work experience anywhere, geographically anywhere in Canada, actually anywhere in the world. In the US, you can go to Europe if you want. You can work for a professional team or an amateur team or nonprofit organization. As long as it's in a sport-related field, that's okay with us. You have to work 400 hours to get your credits. And again, we're flexible with whatever you want to do, whether you want to work with a winter sport like hockey, or whether it's a baseball team in the summertime, or whether it's with a nonprofit organization, or whether it's with a retail organization like Golf Town, for example. That's all okay as well. In terms of the graduates, where are they now? And I'm going to bring in Luke in a second here, one of our students. and he can talk about his experiences with internships and what he's doing next, and the program itself. But I just put up a couple of logos here for you to see where our graduates are working, and also where some of them have done their internships as well. So some are working with MLSE. We have someone who's working full-time now with the 905 Raptors 905 minor league, or development league, D League team. We have the Edmonton Oil Kings. We have someone there working with the Niagara Ice Dogs as well, the Hamilton Bulldogs. We had one working with the Ottawa Red Blacks, Ottawa Senators, Toronto Argos, and so on and so forth. So you can see they're working all over the place. So perhaps this is a good point where I could bring in one of our students. Again, he's going to be graduating in a few weeks, Luke Grenier. And Luke, maybe you could talk about the program itself, first of all, what your experience has been like at the program within the last 3 years, and then what you did for your internship and what you plan on doing going forward.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's nice to see you all again from afar. So to speak a little bit about my experiences, again, I was in all of your shoes just a few years ago, deciding what I want to do, where I want to go, and really Niagara College has been really a blessing. The professors are wonderful. They've really helped you kind of navigate the sport world. It's quite vast. And at some points you might say, wow, there's a lot here, but you know what? They help you navigate and figure out exactly where you want to go to. And honestly, that's how you build those experiences, the in-class work, the guest speakers, and really the curriculum itself is built terrifically. I can speak for myself. I know it's changed a little bit, which is always good. But for me, it's really helped me build a solid foundation for what I want to do next. And I will say, as for the internship, it's definitely one of the key points I think all of you should take a look into, because for me, it taught me how to approach getting a job in the future, practical experience. Really, it's something extremely valuable. Like I said, I think everybody should really look into. And as for the Be World Ready program, which is the ones that take you on trips, if you saw, I was in a few of those pictures for Las Vegas, which was, I will say, one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. And you know what? It actually helped me decide what I was going to do next. Which again, you may decide to go into the workforce, which is great as well. I mean, Niagara College prepares you for that. But if you choose to go into further studies, there's great schools locally. And as for me, when we visited Las Vegas, we had the opportunity to attend a few classes and visit UNLV, which is the big university down there, which it's September. I will hopefully be attending in their hospitality department, which again, with that trip has helped me decide where I want to go. And in the end, the one thing I think all of you should retain from this is Niagara College really sets you up for success. The professors care, they want to know you. And as Professor Santoro said, the class sizes really help them become personal with you. And believe me, when you put in the hard work, it totally pays off for you.
That's awesome, Luke. Thank you. Thank you for that. And Luke is one of our star students, as you could probably tell. But he loved Vegas. He made some connections down there when he went on the Be World Ready tour, if you will. And his decision, as he said, was he's going to pursue a degree, an undergrad degree, once he graduates with us. And he's going to go to University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and see what opportunities present themselves for him there. He's already been offered a couple of sales opportunities if he wanted to take them through our sales program that we took. We've got, he's got, because he's got he's multilingual, he can speak and understand French. He becomes a valuable asset. So there's a lot of teams that would love to have someone like him his dedication, his knowledge, and his abilities to work for them. But he's decided to finish off his academics and his undergrad. So, we wish him luck with that, and I'm sure we'll stay connected with him going forward. So I'm just going to go through another slide or two, and then if you have any questions for Luke or Professor Merlot, we're happy to answer those. These are the articulation agreements that I referred to earlier, where UNLV is not on here, but there's it's countless, really, the number of opportunities you can have if you want to pursue various undergrad opportunities with different universities. But here's just a few of them. Brock University, local university in St. Catharines. You have a direct entry into their, basically you have to go 2.5 years into their program. Niagara University, you have direct entry there. You'll have to finish basically one to 1.5 years at Niagara U, and then you can complete an undergrad. Same with Canisius College in Buffalo. You can take a 100% online program at Southern New Hampshire University in sport management, and that typically equates to about 12 credits, 12 courses for you to take, 12 3-credit courses, which you can do at your own speed. So you can finish that in as little as, 1.5 years if you wanted to, but you can stretch that out if you have other things that you have to, that take up time in your life. And then there's other ones there. There's a university in England. There's a university in Ireland as well, if you wanted to study overseas as well. So again, in terms of competitive advantage, why Niagara College? Again, I'll default back to experienced faculty with sport-related backgrounds. We are very much a student-focused college and student-focused culture. Same with our program, of course. And we have generous university articulation agreements. Our curriculum is very current. We have a program advisory committee of industry experts that we meet with on a yearly basis to advise us on the curriculum, to make sure that we're teaching the students the most up-to-date and current concepts that the industry needs. There is valuable industry networking. I personally have connections with, I'm going to say, pretty much every CFL team that there is in terms of sales managers now, through my experience and through different courses that we have. I've ended up connecting with directors of sales for all of the CFL teams and some NHL teams as well. And of course, the scenic geographic location at Niagara College at Niagara and the Lake is really second to none. So, coupled with all that, I think it's a world-class educational institution that I think you would be well served to attend. So with that, I'm done with that part of it. So Mavis, I don't know if you want to do your closing and then open it up with questions.
Yes, so the question is, will this session be available to watch later? Absolutely. It will be recorded and posted on our website.
And again, if you think of any questions later, as Mavis said, she'll provide you with my contact information, and I'm happy to converse with you offline or through email, whatever you want.
Oh, I see one question here. Are there opportunities for scouting or equipment manager jobs after the program, or even in the internship?
Good question. We typically focus on the business aspect of sport. So we talk about sport marketing, sports sponsorship, that type of thing. But we do have students. We have had a student who interned as part of the equipment manager for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I don't know, Shell, if you are familiar with that student, but we did have one student who interned with the Tiger Cats and ended up migrating over to equipment manager.
And I know we also had a student after their internship, Spencer went over to be tickets. He was involved in the ticket office as the coordinator. So certainly after an internship, there is the viability and the opportunity for, could be a contract, or it could be a certain job opportunity right there. So yeah,
Yeah.
we've had a few that way.
Yeah, that's a great point she makes, because where you start off as your internship job doesn't mean that's where you're going to end up. And once the key thing is to start off, just do anything for that organization, just get your foot in the door. And then from there, you'll see other opportunities open up, and you can, transfer over to areas that you may prefer more. You can go from operations, from the operations side to the sales side, and then from the sales side, perhaps to the sponsorship or the marketing side. It depends on really the organization, what opportunities there are, and also what you would prefer to do in sports.
Perfect. So I see another question there in the chat. If I play sports competitively, will I be overhead with the schooling and work?
Say that again, Mavis. I missed the last part of that.
So it says, if I play sports competitively, will I be overhead in terms of schooling and work? Like, I guess,
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
That's what the student's asking. How am I going to balance my sport as well as my academics? And that's something, time management is so important, and you balancing your intercollegiate, whether it's intramurals or varsity or your rep team that you're playing for. We have students that do that. Even some students who have been coaches on some teams who have had to do that in the evening. So, that's you with your priorities and balancing, knowing when projects or assignments are due, and keeping those particular aspects organized.
If I could just say, we're just from a student who has had to balance all that. You know what? It's about what you can take. If you can handle doing all that and effectively doing your work and staying organized and connect with your sport management peers and others, then absolutely you can go for it. I think the biggest thing is what's your capacity, and just being able to, not losing it. That's the biggest thing.